There, start recording. Well, whatever. A script. Yeah, I should work on a script sometime. But whatever. Hello, internet world. I'm actually feeling a little better now with this medicine. I did a video about it a couple days ago. Uh, Simlandi, from Iceland, Reykjavik. Still haven't learned Icelandic, but the side effects of the compulsion to do so. Uh, but it's given me so much energy. I actually feel years younger, and I'm not even that old. Believe it or not. But I feel so much better. Like last night, I had so much energy. The night before that, I actually got almost 5 hours sleep without being waken up with pains and aches and whatever. And I just felt so refreshed yesterday. It's been a miracle. Uh, really. And I got a few things I wanted to talk about here because after surviving something like this and being on your deathbed and thinking you're not, this is it, like you're not gonna make it and doctors telling you your lungs might shut down. I mean, I can't even begin to explain how difficult it was in Boston. If I didn't leave the Boston hospitals in the state of Massachusetts, I don't think they ever would have taken me off that methotrexate. I think I would have died. It was so awful. I will say that methotrexate did help reduce all the pains I was having from the complications of my immune system going haywire after the electrical burns, fixing all those power problems for the Boston DCR. That was something I didn't expect to happen. The initial electrical shock feels fuzzy for a little bit, and I was educated enough to know to only reach with my right side if anything were to go wrong, so I don't get electrocuted through my heart and killed instantly. So, no, it it didn't hurt as much as my body felt strange afterwards. Like, my leg was in my arm or something, but I was still able to sort of walk. So I've had complications with that for years now. And when it got worse and worse and worse, the doctors didn't know what to tell me. And I get it now. They were trying, one doctor misdiagnosed me one way, another one misdiagnosed me another. And it seems like they were just trying to find a way to keep insurance from approving what I needed. I'm still trying to understand it. As far as I know, there's something going on in Boston, maybe even the entire state of Massachusetts, that just isn't, something ain't right out there no more. I don't know what's going on. But my new doctor in the new state I'm living in, he helped me get Humira approved and told me those other doctors were lying to me. And then he even said to me after that, when I asked him, he also said that sometimes doctors just don't want to take you off methotrexate if you've been on it for a while. And when I asked him why, he didn't say a thing. I know some of these doctors, they don't, there's only so much they can really tell you legally, I guess. But something's going on. Something's going on. So this Humira stuff has been the miracle. Out of all the crap they kept making me do, I just needed this Humira approved, and I feel so much better. I almost want to pick up my guitar again, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna rush. I'm not gonna rush. My back had all sorts of problems, and I used to do a lot of lifting and construction all day. This is what I did all day. This is what I did. Here you go. Here's your bundle. And then sometimes I would do some math on the wall. Unfinished wall, not the finished wall. And run some conduits and whatnot. Maybe mount some panels. But this is what I did for guys that weren't well, the guys that were on the ladder. I did this. I brought it over to you so you could keep working and producing. That's what I did. Did a lot of that. And one day my back started hurting so much I'd wake up and it'd be bleeding. I have pictures of it. They're hard to look at, but I already put it on YouTube a long time ago. They were here on this channel of the marks that were appearing on my back. That stuff was started on my leg with the burn and all that. So it's just there's different types of lifting injuries out there. You guys that probably power lift for a living, and wrestle and all that, you know about back injuries. Try pushing the weight when you should be pushing the reps. Maybe a little less water, maybe a little more deep breaths. You guys, some people understand. See, all I know is this medicine's helping reducing that inflammation and helping my skin heal a little better from all that. So I'm not lifting for a living for anybody ever again. You can't pay me enough. Okay, couldn't pay me enough. Even if you were offering $10,000 an hour, it ain't enough. Okay, because you know how much a back surgery is? A lot more than $10,000 an hour. Hey, something's up with inflation. So anyway, I don't want to just rant about too much here, but I'm feeling better. I got wild energy. I feel like I got gears, back on my life from this stuff. Um, I know I got one more dose of it before I have to order another one, and I just hope, insurance can keep this going. These things, the Humira itself is like 2 grand a month. Couldn't believe it. This one's a little more affordable, apparently, and they won't have me grow a third arm anywhere. But I can't believe it. I can't believe it, man. And all the work I did for the city, and I couldn't get that medicine I needed approved. I don't know what's going on in Boston. Investigate, investigate. The DCR, I don't know what they were doing over there. People died. Some of us survived, and they covered it up, and they sent me to a private house doctor. I get it now. So they didn't send us to the hospital because the public would have known, and it might have been on the news. I get it now. Well, you know what the other union frickin' electrician said to me? Don't you ever let them forget what you've went through on this job. Okay? Don't you ever let them forget. So I've been talking about it for the rest of my life. Especially trying to get the medicine approved I needed for my immune system going bonkers after the electrical burn. I've had electricians tell me more about how to care for it than doctors can. And you know what else didn't dawn on me is that's because the doctors can't tell you certain things because insurance needs to improve what they tell you, I guess. Uh, some wacky thing. Oh, electricians, oh, you need a drawing salve, kid. You got to get what part of your body burned out of there. It's going to hurt. It's gonna hurt. They don't know what they can't. It doesn't show up on scans. You're internally cooked. I can't say. See, I get these drawing cells. I make the little caps, and I put the little tissue in the cap, and I put drawing salve in there. There's different types of drawing salves. One's ixthamol. I put a little baking soda on it too, which also helps. Bacteria don't like it, and oh yeah, it's pretty gnarly what I've had to do. Right now I'm standing. I'd be stand up, and I'd press it against my back, and I'd pull all this fluid out of the bottom of my spine. Oh man, yeah. You can't imagine what type of pain that could be. It'll humble you no matter how tough you think you are. But anyway, on another note, I streamed for almost 5 hours for the first time ever last night on Kick. A friend of mine is streaming on Kick. She invited me over there. Yeah, I guess so. I guess Twitch is nuts. I don't know if I want to be over there, but then I hear Kick is nuts too. And I wanted to do more than stream at one place if I was going to feel up to doing it. I was playing Quake Champions. I know it's not the most popular game anymore, Quake. I don't know what type of world we're living in where Quake isn't number one anymore. Whatever. I woke up at a different timeline. It is what it is. So I gotta. I'll see if I'm feeling up to it. I'll play other games too. I don't know. I'm lucky to be alive. And there's other things I need to do for work to try and bring in an income here. I got to afford to pay the rent. I got to afford to buy my food. I got to afford this medicine. And my immune system is so overactive. Like I don't leave the house much. I just don't. No, I work from here. I want to work from here. I can. And I look at the markets and I invest a little bit. I'm not a professional. I can't talk about it much. I'm not a day trader. I'm an investor. I'm investing in some things, seeing what happens there. And a lot of it's Web3 financial technology stuff. Oh, there's blockchain stuff. So I'm not going to get into that though. I don't want to make this one video a mashup of too many things. There's my health. I'm trying to recover. There's how I got hurt, how I lost insurance, which has probably affected more Americans than we can imagine. I can't. Well, almost half the people I knew growing up died. Some of them didn't even make it to 30. Like they can't even speak up for themselves anymore. It's so crazy what's happened. And I survived. I survived. Man, All right. I don't know. I might play a video game for a bit. I don't feel up to play my guitar again yet, but when I do, when I play hook up my guitar and get that working, then I really feel better. That'd be wonderful. And let's see. I guess that's it. I don't know. Made some content. Whatever. I started this late, and I was a mess when I got started. But I lived the life. I used to build things. I was helping to power hospitals and schools and the skyline of Boston. That was fun while I could. While I was able to do it, moved things that other people didn't have the back to move. You know, and they told me to never let them forget what we did for a living. So some of you might not relate. There might be a lot of office engineers out there, but I was a field engineer. I did on the spot field engineering. I would look over blueprints and talk with the foreman over what could be done and what needed to be reevaluated. So we did a lot of that. Man, do I remember some of them fighting with the blueprints? These were approved already by 5 different people. Well, they're still wrong. And I was just learning how those guys make that argument. How do you go and argue with someone, with the city that's been approved 4 different times? Well, some of those guys have that knowledge and that skill. And I will never forget those jobs. But anyway, I will also never forget that union electrician telling me these are the risks we take putting our lives on the line for the city. Don't ever let them forget about you. All right, that's the end of my video for now. Uh, no longer in that program. Nearly died, but I did some awesome work. Okay, bye bye for now.